Well, hey guys, welcome to today's video. It is the very first week of May and it is propagation season in the nursery, at least for summertime propagation, late spring into the summertime propagation. It is a bright blue, barely a cloud in the sky today. Hardly any wind at all, about 75 degrees. Couldn't be any prettier outside, and we are working on propagating these pink diamond hydrangeas. Now, this is another Paniculata hydrangea, and we do a lot of these in our nursery, and this is another variety similar to the silver dollar, the limelight, and some others that we propagate. But today I want to put our attention today on the pink diamond and show you exactly how we propagate this, and really it's not hard to do at all. So let's go for a little journey and do a little propagation. Now this is just one plant that we have. It's one small pink diamond hydrangea, and it's actually flushed out really nice. This is all new growth from this spring so far, and I've got about 30 of these here, and this is all the pink diamonds we have. I don't have any other pink diamond plant material anywhere in our nursery at all. So I just got a bucket here that I'm gonna let these cuttings fall in, but the way that I'm gonna get my cuttings, now I realize this is gonna look like I'm murdering this plant, but this is not. This is not at all. This is a correct way not only to prune this plant, but to take cuttings from this plant as well. So I'm just gonna take this long new growth here, and this is long enough that it's hardened off some. It's not real flimsy. The tip of it might be a little flimsy, but we're not gonna worry about that. And I'm gonna go down to the bottom or close to the bottom leaf node and just prune it right there. Now where I cut that branch off, you can see a leaf node there, and that will branch out from there when it continues to grow. So I'm gonna take all of these branches off of here and just let them fall right down into my bucket. Cut them back pretty hard. That one missed. This one is nice and thick here. We're just gonna prune this plant all the way back to nothing. And this is gonna be the source of my cuttings for, at least for this year, because it's all I have, and I've cut that plant back to that. Now, after we do our cuttings, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take these plants, and repot them into a pot twice this size. Fertilize them, get them under irrigation, they'll flush out huge, and I expect these to bloom in about 6 to 8 weeks from now. So, and be a lot bigger, and we'll be able to sell these this year. So, we get the double benefit by doing this. We get a hard prune on them, which makes them branch out more. We're gonna keep the cuttings that we prune from them. Then we're gonna pot these up, set them aside, let them grow on out for a few more weeks. And then we're gonna take the cuttings that we have in the bucket, and we're gonna take these, we're gonna do all of our plants here. We're gonna take all the cuttings that we have in the bucket and go turn these into more pink diamond hydrangeas. So I'll show you that here in just a minute. Now, as you can see, we filled up this 5-gallon bucket with cuttings, and this is gonna make hundreds of cuttings. I don't know how many, we'll let you know. But, every one of these, just say this branch, there's 4 or 5 cuttings right there on that branch, and you can say that about every branch in the bucket. Again, we'll show them to you up close, but we took those plants, we just cut them all back, just down very tight. Again, we'll repot those plants. We'll take care of the plants that these came from, but now we're gonna go start working on these cuttings and cleaning them up and getting them ready to stick in their rooting medium, and then we'll go from there. Now we've come in here inside our shade house where we can work in, at least partial shade, because the sun, despite the fact that it's not very hot, the sun is still pretty brutal at times. And anyway, I like to take these cuttings and just wet them. With it being so bright and sunny, it just helps them to not wilt, quickly at all. But you can even you can submerge these in water like overnight or something if you can't get to all of them in one day. And, with hundreds, it's gonna take us a little time to get through all these. So I just wet these, just spray water on them. The bucket's got a little bit of water in it, but that's neither here nor there. So come in here and have a look at what I'm gonna do with these. Now, if you ever watched our videos before on limelight hydrangeas or silver dollar hydrangeas, it's the same technique that you use, the same method. And all this is just the stem that we cut, a branch, a stem that we've cut off of our pink diamond hydrangeas out in the field. And all I do is find a leaf node and come right above it and cut it off. Well, that wasn't really supposed to go in the bucket. But we just take these like that, and you can see that one's got a short stem, shorter than I like, but it's totally fine. And I'm gonna cut off about 1/2 to 2/3 of the leaves, just about like that. Then I'm gonna take this and stick it down in my propagation medium. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. But before I do, let's just back out this stem. Take all the cuttings from this stem, chop the leaves off. There you go. There you have another one. Now, I have to tell you that once I kind of get on a roll going with this, I can go with this really quick and make quick work out of these cuttings. And this type of work, it's like my most favorite work that I do in the nursery is making cuttings. So out of that one little branch, we've got 4 cuttings there. So we'll take all those and stick them in a tray, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll keep going. Now, in my last video, I was showing you guys what kind of mediums I use for propagation, so we're not going to go through that again at all, but this is my peat-based medium that I use for propagation. This is a 72 count plug tray, and I just take a little stick and go through every one of these holes, or sorry, every one of these plugs, and just make a hole in it. Just kind of punch the hole in and waller it out, and that's going to be, you know, where we wind up sticking all of our cuttings that we're making is in these little holes. So it's really easy. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's self-explanatory, but it is not difficult to do at all. And, you know, it just takes a couple of seconds to do each one of these. So in a 72 count tray, you can, you know, do the whole tray in just a couple of minutes. But all we're going to do is take those little cuttings. We're going to make a whole lot more of them from all these other branches that we've gotten from the pink diamond. And we're going to just go and stick them in these little holes right here. Remember, it's just a little tiny stem. You don't need a bottom node on the cutting. Just a single node cutting is all you need. 2 little leaves sticking up off the top. If it has 3, that's okay. If it has 1, that's okay. You just take those little cuttings, those little parts of the leaves that are on the cutting, you stick them down inside these holes, and you're going to be on your way to propagating a whole lot of baby pink diamond hydrangeas, or whatever hydrangea you may be working with. At least that's how we do it. Well, all right, guys, we got all of those done. They were in the, well, I lost it or moved it. They were in a 5-gallon bucket. Here's our trash from all those cuttings. And then the actual cuttings are here in this bucket. And as you can see, you know, these are in water. And again, I just do this to help them to not wilt when it's bright and sunny. This is not necessary if you're working with them quickly, if you're just making your cuttings, sticking them quickly. But it took us a little time to get them all cut. It took us about 25 actual minutes. You saw it on the time lapse, but that whole time was about 25 minutes. So I'm anxious to get these stuck and to see how many it is. So let me show you exactly how we stick these into our rooting medium. Back to our tray here. I poked holes in this just a minute ago, and just quickly we'll go through these and stick these down into the holes. And you want to make sure that you keep your leaves some distance above the soil level there. You know, it doesn't matter. You don't have to measure it. Just, you know, you want them a 1/2 inch above it. They can be an inch above it. They can be a 1/4 inch above it. It doesn't really matter. Just take your cuttings and stick them in there. Now you'll notice there's no bottom node. There's no lower node. And I don't use any rooting compound or rooting hormone to do this with. These root 90 or 95% just as they are. Sometimes I'll get a 100% tray just as they are. So that's one of those things that always surprises people. I always get lots of questions and comments about that. There's really no question to ask. It's just I don't use it and there's no need to. So I'm sure for some plants in some environments it helps. You know, if you're propagating under much more specific environmental conditions, you know, you're doing things in a greenhouse, it's absolutely necessary for whatever reason that you get 100% of your tray to root. Most people are not going to do hydrangea cuttings in a 72 count tray like this, but they're my hydrangeas. I'm going to root them how I want to save space, and I'm going to get them potted up as soon as they get a nice big healthy root system on them. So all we do is just keep taking these cuttings, sticking them in these trays, and Chloe's going to come and help me stick all these, and we're going to see how many we have. I'm kind of anxious to know how many cuttings that turned into. So we're going to move along here with this project, and we'll kind of give you an update here when we get done with a tray or two. All right, guys, we got all of our pink diamond cuttings stuck. We have 5 full trays here, and then a 6th tray that's about 2/3 full. It's a total of 418 cuttings, and I fully expect these to root at 90 or 95% at least. So let's say at least, at worst, you know, we're talking 350 rooted plugs here in just a matter of, you know, 4 weeks to 8 weeks, something like that. So the last thing for us to do is to take these trays and we'll go put them out back in our propagation area, and all our propagation area is a shaded low tunnel, and it has mist that sprays intermittently throughout the day. And there they will sit, and we won't do another thing to them. All right, guys, so here's our propagation tunnel. That's what I call it. And we've taken all of our trays and put them in here. They're not the first things in the tunnel this year. We've already done about 600 phantom hydrangea cuttings yesterday and the day before. So we've already got about 1,000 hydrangea cuttings in here. But you know, something that's important for you to understand about the pink diamond hydrangea is it's not like it's the only one that's done this way. So for example, just here at our nursery, we do the pink diamond, we do the phantom, we do the limelight, the silver dollar. We're doing chantilly lace this year, and there's at least 5 that I can think of right off the top of my head that are just panicle hydrangeas that we do this way. And you can do this with macrophylla hydrangeas the same way, oak leaf hydrangeas the same way, though I have had very, very mixed results with that. You can do it with the arborescents like Annabelle. Lots and lots of hydrangea varieties can be propagated this way, under mist, single node cuttings with no rooting hormone. You just kind of got to practice it, and this mist system is on a timer, and it just goes off intermittently throughout the day. So guys, it's really what I want to show you. It's hydrangea propagation is really, really simple, and you know, it just takes knowing just a few pretty basic things in order to do it. And you can do it on the smallest scale to the largest. And the way that we do it, you can do it on a huge scale, or you can do it in bathroom solo cups. So all of that being said, that's how we propagate these pink diamonds. So guys, thank y'all for watching today. I love y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.